All right, this is what victory looks like. It's amazing how easily the transmission just slid into place once all the discs were properly aligned. We had to do it a couple of times because we forgot the shift fork or the clutch fork yet again, but it easily came out, easily slipped back in. This is how it should have been from the beginning, and I have a couple of call outs that I need to make. So if we come over here, first of all, this is the tool that we were using. It's just a plastic, a classic plastic alignment tool. But what we found is that the diameter of this guy is for an earlier clutch. So this is actually for like a 901 or a 915 for a Porsche, but it was sold to me as being for a 996 or 997. And the difference is this is like 0.985 or 0.983, something like that in diameter. And this is 1 inch in diameter. Ditto for this guy. This tool, I have to thank Rob at RPS for coming through with an actual metal input shaft for a G96 or a G97 to use to align the clutches, because he sent me his own personal tool, which I have to now turn around and send back to him. But having something like this is a complete lifesaver, because without it, we just wouldn't be able to get those clutches set up. On my own, I made a gamble and I bought a 964 input shaft. So all you 964 guys out there, don't worry. It was already trashed. It wasn't, the gear stack, the 1-2 stack, wasn't going to make anybody happy, so I don't feel so bad cutting this apart. But now I have my own input shaft that'll work, and I test fit this with the clutches, and everything engages properly. The inside spigot bearing is all the same diameter, like everything will work. So if anyone out there needs a metal input shaft, you can go back possibly as far as the G50 transmission, which should share a similar spline count and size, because I don't believe that changed from the G50, the G64, the G96, the G97 transmissions all the way through. I believe, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but the spline size and count was the same for all those. And then the smaller size was actually for the 901 and the 915 on the earlier air-cooled Porsches. So thanks again to Rob for sending this out and talking with me on the phone regarding the clutches and the setups for the Ultima. And kind of based on the trials and tribulations, we may change a few things. So I think I previously mentioned the two different types of clutch designs that have been supplied for the Ultima cars based on whether you had a push-type clutch, which is a conversion for these transmissions, or if you had a pull-type clutch, which is standard for Porsche and Subaru-type cars, where the diaphragm spring is actually pulled out to disengage it. With the clutch that I have, I decided to stay with that pull-type clutch, and that's why I have 3 individual clutch plates with 3 individual hubs, and why I had so much problems getting all those clutch plates aligned with what amounted to the wrong tool. After talking with Rob a bit for just how difficult this was, we're both kind of inclined to agree that going forward, he may only offer the single hub design for Ultimas. And what that is it's a single kind of aluminum or steel hub in the middle, and then the 3 carbon discs interface against a single hub. And it's a much easier design for a home mechanic to install, because even that would have been able to align somewhat correctly with even that smaller tool that I had, because it worked okay for a single disc. And it should help prevent some of the issues that I had with this multi-disc setup. Now, the only downside is that it doesn't hold as much torque. So that single hub design with the 3 plates riding the center, that will, I say only, but it'll only hold about 900 foot-pounds of torque versus the 3 individual clutch and hub designs that I'm using currently. That holds 1,500 foot-pounds of torque. Does that really matter in a car that weighs 2,300 pounds? Not especially, because even if you're making 900 plus foot-pounds of torque, there's no way the car is going to be able to get that to the ground. You're just going to be spinning tires. The only exception might be drag racing with, hot, sticky drag radials or drag tires. And even then, that's going to be a very rare case for these cars. They're not meant to drag race. They're not set up to do that. So both he and I kind of decide that the easier single hub design is just kind of the better option for Ultimas going forward. If you're after one of these clutches, I suggest looking at that. I don't know if it involves having to do a push style conversion, but it's usually Tilton annular hydraulic bearing that's a bolt-in design set for the G96 or G97 transmissions. And Rob sells all of that together in a kit, so it is kind of a fire and forget setup. So once again, thanks, Rob, for helping me out and being super patient with me and over this whole ordeal. And I think all of us have kind of learned a lot about how these clutches work, how they install, and how tight these tolerances need to be to get all this set up properly. So that being said, let's get back on the car and keep bolting this thing together.
to fight. Through all the rain, we're masking all our pain to take what still remains of our lives. Within, we've justified our sin, and we're gonna take you on a ride till we find answers within. Location not here, in shadows